and my sister's daughter, and I see such a marked influence of music and lifestyle in terms of movies she watches and the games she wants to play and things like that. So there is definitely that. And I think it's great. Every generation has their own sense of foundation in terms of movies, theaters, actors, art that they liked and things like that. So there is definitely that. And I think more and more people are adopting an individual lifestyle. So they're not necessarily going with what their parents heard or wore. Yes, advice for sure, but I think a lot of them making their own decisions about their lifestyle.
Great. Chetan, this is also something I think you can talk about. Just the surge in individuals making choices about all these various aspects. It's not just about a career, although I would argue that a career is also a lifestyle choice, and this is something that you have also made. And then sort of, if you could segue into a little bit about your background and where you think style and lifestyle sort of fits into who you have become.
Well, the word lifestyle also has style in it. So I guess it's the way you live. I'm actually feeling very intimidated right now. I'm actually an engineer. We are supposed to be nerds and geeks. And style is not something we're associated with. I'm sitting here with 16 top designers and a good-looking Parsi and well-dressed Parsi. I mean, it's obvious. Who has a movie running in the theaters right now. And it's quite, but I accidentally, I did something as a hobby and it became my profession. And I accidentally stumbled into some industries like entertainment, TV, films, where style is very important. The way you look, the way you present yourself is very important. So I fought it for a long time, but I realized that it's not just for fashionistas or fashion icons. Even if you're a banker, even if you're a businessman, a stylish banker will do better in his career than a non-stylish one, or a stylish businesswoman will do better in her career than a non-stylish one. So, and it's not always that you have, the style is something which people just want to see whether you have paid attention to it. I think people want to see, have you made an effort? Nobody is expecting you to look like the people that come in your magazines, for example, because those are extremes. I mean, those are icons in their field. So the whole population can't be that. But I think just a little bit of an effort which even an accountant can make, just a few minutes in front of the mirror, and it will have benefits in the way you feel, your self-confidence, in your career. And I think that's what has made me be a part of something like this, to just explore that, to get out of my comfort zone where it's always about thought and writing and ideas, but to actually get into this space to learn a lot from these guys, to see how they think and how they approach the world, because it's not just for the models, it is for everybody. That's what I like to believe, at least. So,
I'm going to come back to you right at the end.
The way we dress up, and it was mainly about finding our own voice in terms of what kind of music we want to do. And that took around like a year or 2 years when we were just experimenting with the kind of stuff that we wanted to do. But we soon realized that, when we pushed forward with that, our music style also started happening. Our dressing sense really didn't improve, but we found our voice in our music, and we saw a lot of support. So I think that is something that drove us forward, and we didn't like to be, just listening to the music that was happening, which was just Bhangra or classic rock or Bollywood, which is great. I mean, these are all styles of music that we like and contribute towards, but we wanted to find our own voice, and I think we did. It took a little while, but yeah, we found that, and found a lot of support from all our friends and our city of Delhi.
So you're defining your style through your voice.
Yeah, I think it's important as a musician. That's what you got to do, is find your voice, and that becomes your style.
Any creative person, I would say, that's true.
Yeah, but I'm just talking as a musician. And I mean, even what you wear is kind of, it's a very introverted process, writing music. So hence you also get to explore what kind of colors, clothes you're attracted to, and then basically you just go with that.
What about some of your icons outside of music?
Outside of music?
People who inspire you.
I think recently, or in the last couple of years, I've been really inspired by this graffiti artist called Banksy. So I think his style is really, really cool. And Tapan?
I'm a big fan of Dali, the painter, and I'm hoping to see some art like that come out of India, and that person has been very inspirational for me.
Great. Is there anything like too much excess?
I mean, I've styled Bollywood movies. Excess is my middle name. I think it's great that, people can go to some place with excessiveness. It's like a fantasy. I think life is too boring if you're not, over the top. Over the top doesn't mean just the clothes and accessories, but it's your attitude, which I believe in. That's it.
Fantastic. Another man who knows a little bit about excess, Gaurav.
There.
You are a little bit, in a good way.
Thank you again.
So I want to ask you a lifestyle question. What's your ideal holiday?
I like, I'm very explorative. I like I'm open to all kind of experiences. So I would love to go bungee jumping or like skydiving. Ideal holiday would be something where I'm doing something new and exciting. I'm seeing a new place. Having said that, I feel I want to achieve that level in my life where holiday is not about externals around me, and I'm able to internally go on a holiday wherever I am. So it's more like finding a journey in your life.
Okay, perfect.
Who dress worse than the other, because then they would be taken like these mad professors who are inventing something great. But you can invent something great and also look in the mirror every morning. I mean, what's the big, how does it take you away so much? So I think that's what we have to do.
I think that's the really...
Substance goes wrong. It happens with Indian cricketers. A stylish Indian cricketer, if he doesn't perform well on field, he gets criticism for the style that is performing, the style that is portraying. So what do you have to say about this?
No, I think that is always going to be the case. Unless you are in the fashion industry, then you will be judged only on the fashion. But if you are outside, you have to keep your core work solid, right? I mean, style alone will not carry you through. It's style helps you package it, style helps you communicate, style helps you connect. But it can only amplify what you are. In fact, it can work very negatively also. If you have a very stylish cricket player who plays really badly suddenly, he's going to get more hate on social media than a guy who's perhaps not seen as that stylish and he just had a bad day. So it is a big, it's something that attracts attention, and it has to be used with care. But you must not let style dominate substance. It should not be style over substance for people. It's style and substance. And I think that is really, really possible. I mean, when all Indian men get married, then they do go to the parlor, and then they do. Why do they do it that day? Right? Suddenly the need to look good comes, like the same people you're meeting, same uncles and aunts you've been meeting. But then the next day they go to office, it doesn't really matter because it's a cultural thing. Whereas a country like France, I mean, it's not like they're extraordinarily, not everybody there is watching fashion shows every day, but there's a certain element of style in the way people dress up there. So I think that has to come in a little bit. And it will come. Now, as India progresses, you will see that happening. The entire community has to become a little more inclusive. And I did the same with books actually, so I'm very confident it will happen. Because books was also seen as this elitist, niche kind of thing, and then now it's okay, you'll find people on local trains reading books. Same can happen with fashion as well. It just needs to adapt. I mean, the people in the industry have to adapt to the people, and the local population has to culturally shift and realize that this is something that will benefit me. It's not just vanity. It's not just something, other people do. It's something I need. So,
if you don't mind, may I add to that? Well said, Chetan. Yeah. And I'm adding to what Chetan has to say. I think we talk about fashion and style and all of that. I think it's also got to do with refinement. It's got to do with being ambassadors of the country. I mean, when we travel, for example, my uncle used to always travel in a full suit. And I used to say, Uncle, why are you traveling in a full suit? And he says, you know what? We're ambassadors of our country. We are flying internationally. When we get off the airport, we should look good. We are representing our country. So he says, the day you start, it's very important, I say. It's not just about being fashionable. It's about showing respect to who you are and where you're going. So if I'm in my home, I can lounge in my pajamas, but when I come here, I will be dressed according to the respect that this place expects me to show them. And adding to my uncle's little story, says, son, when you travel, make sure that wherever you go, you will wear at least a jacket. And I said, why would I do that? Of course, I didn't travel for 35 years of my life. My first passport came in when I was 35 years old. But that day, I did wear a suit and travel. I mean, I wore a jacket and travel. And I said, why? He says, I'll tell you, there's another catch to it. If at all there is a chance on that flight that you need to be upgraded, they'll upgrade you. Well, of course, with God's grace, I don't need to be upgraded anymore, but I got there, didn't I?
Thank you all so much. I would especially like to thank